Before the flood, when the world trembled under mysteries hidden in the Book of Enoch, the sky wars began, angels clashing with alien-like beings in battles that shook the heavens. These were not quiet visions, but storms of fire, light tearing through the darkness, Nephilim rising in rebellion, and watchers falling in disgrace. Ancient voices describe cosmic battles that sound less like myths and more like UFO encounters written in sacred words. Why did the fallen angels risk everything to descend into our world? What secrets of ancient aliens and strange beings have been buried for centuries? Could the fiery visions of Enoch be the earliest record of UFO sightings and interstellar wars fought over the soul of humanity? In this video, you will uncover the forbidden truth of angel wars, the destruction of the giants, and the divine intervention that rewrote human history. You will see how the Book of Enoch reveals the first Star Wars of the universe, hidden inside the Bible itself. I invite you to journey with me into this hypnotic story, where heaven, earth, and the cosmos collided. Comment. What you believe about these ancient battles? Do you think they were spiritual wars or alien conflicts? Subscribe and like. If you want to keep exploring these powerful mysteries together, because every word we uncover brings us closer to healing the questions our souls have carried for generations. In the Book of Enoch, the story begins with a fracture between heaven and earth, a moment where the sky wars ignited. The Watchers, angelic beings entrusted to guard humanity, gazed upon the daughters of men and chose rebellion over loyalty. Their descent was not only a fall of grace, but a cosmic rupture, an invasion that altered the very destiny of mankind. These fallen angels carried with them knowledge never meant for human hands, secrets of weapons, enchantments, and forbidden sciences. To the ancient mind, it was sorcery. To the modern eye, it resembles advanced technology, as if fragments of alien intelligence were woven into our fragile world. Imagine the terror of ancient men who looked upward and saw streaks of light blazing like fire across the skies, as heavenly beings descended with a force that shattered the order of creation. The Bible whispers that these beings corrupted not just the hearts of men, but even the very DNA of humanity through their offspring, the giants known as the Nephilim. Giants who towered over villages, consuming resources, bringing chaos, and ruling with fear. These were not bedtime stories, but living nightmares. The people who witnessed them were left asking, were these children of angels or alien-like beings who sought dominion over Earth? When we read Enoch's visions, we do not see mere myth. We see the echo of a cosmic conflict. Modern UFO encounters often describe beings descending in radiant light, their craft illuminating the night sky like burning stars. Is it possible that what we call UFO sightings today are the same manifestations Enoch described thousands of years ago, interpreted through the language of his time? The Watchers of Heaven became trespassers, crossing forbidden boundaries, and humanity paid the price. This is not just theology. It is the first record of a cosmic rebellion that sounds uncannily like an interstellar war. But beneath the terror lies a lesson written for us. When knowledge is used without wisdom, it destroys. The fallen angels did not bring healing. They brought arrogance and violence. Even today, humanity grapples with the same temptation, to use science and power without conscience, to play God while forgetting we are dust. Enoch's story is not only about alien-like beings or angels in conflict, it is about us, about the dangers of reaching for light without understanding the fire. Comment. If you see the parallels in our world today, how knowledge without humility can break nations and corrupt hearts. Do you believe what Enoch saw were angels punished for lust, or aliens seeking to enslave humanity? This is the beginning of the unraveling, the setup to the greatest battles written in the heavens. The stage is prepared, The Watchers stand in defiance, the Nephilim rise in rebellion. But above all, the Lord sends his holy ones to restore the balance, and here begins the greatest conflict between heaven and the strange powers that sought to claim earth. And as we move forward, the Bible story opens like a cosmic scroll, revealing the clash of light against darkness, a battle that would shape the fate of all mankind. Boikenliksuva Tantwai before the flood cleansed the earth. The ancient world was unlike anything we know. Civilization was young, yet men were already led astray by beings of immense power. The Watchers did not only corrupt human blood, they reshaped society, teaching sorcery, astrology, metallurgy, and the forging of weapons. What we now consider the dawn of technology may have been birthed in rebellion against heaven. Imagine farmers suddenly taught the secrets of steel, warriors wielding weapons that glistened like lightning, cities ruled by giants with strength beyond measure. This was not human progress, it was acceleration by forbidden fire. Every culture remembers it. The Hindu texts speak of flying machines, the Vimana, that battled in the skies with blazing weapons. The Greeks tell of titans at war with the gods. The Mayans drew carvings of sky serpents and beings descending in crafts. And in the Book of Enoch, the same pattern appears. Heavenly beings clashing with strange entities in the sky wars. How could stories from civilizations across oceans and centuries echo the same themes, unless they all remembered a single primal event, a cosmic war that scarred humanity's memory? This backdrop is more than legend. It is the stage for divine judgment. Humanity lived under the weight of terror, the cries of villages crushed by Nephilim, the confusion of worshipping beings who promised power but delivered chains. To the innocent, they seemed like gods. To the wise, they were impostors. Their rule invited the anger of heaven, for creation itself was unraveling. The floodwaters that later covered the earth were not merely punishment, but cleansing, an erasure of DNA corruption and a reset of divine order. The lesson for us today is piercing. When we build kingdoms on arrogance, when we allow corrupted powers to define our future, destruction follows. Whether through ancient sky wars or modern struggles with unseen forces, the message is the same. Without alignment to the Creator, chaos reigns. We must discern which voices guide us, for not every being that descends in light is holy. Some lights burn to heal, while others burn to deceive. The Bible warns of false messengers, and Enoch's account gives us the first glimpse of their devastation. But do you see how history repeats? Reports of UFO sightings, encounters with beings of strange power, whispers of genetic experiments, they echo the very warnings carved into Scripture. Comment your thoughts. Are we seeing the return of the Watchers? Or is this the lingering shadow of a war fought before time itself? As this ancient stage unfolds, we prepare to step deeper into the battlefield, where archangels descend with fire, where cosmic judgment is declared, and where the destiny of mankind hangs by a fragile thread between light and darkness. This is the heart of the Sky Wars, the battles that reshaped eternity. The sky battles in the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch paints a vision of the heavens ablaze, a battlefield where the forces of light clashed against the armies of corruption. It was not the quiet stillness of prayer, but the roar of cosmic warfare, skies torn open, as if the very stars themselves were shaken. The Watchers, once radiant beings, now stood defiant, their rebellion unleashing the Nephilim who ravaged the earth. Villages cried out beneath their crushing weight, the ground trembled under their steps, and men lifted their eyes in terror as streaks of fire cut across the horizon. This was the moment when the first Star Wars unfolded, not on movie screens, but in the sacred scrolls of ancient faith. The language of Enoch may sound poetic, but imagine the reality it described, weapons of blinding light that split the night like lightning, heavenly hosts descending in formations like armies, battles echoing across the firmament. To a modern witness, this sounds less like ancient myth and more like UFO dogfights in the sky. Could it be that what we call advanced technology was once revealed in divine judgment? Could the fiery visions of Enoch be the earliest record of UFO sightings? The parallels are haunting. Radiant beings, flying crafts, destructive beams of light. Humanity's earliest storytellers did not invent these things. They described them the only way they knew how, through sacred imagery and holy terror. The Nephilim, born of this rebellion, stood as living monuments of defilement. Their sheer size and hunger devoured entire lands, their presence corrupting human hearts to worship violence. To the innocent, it was the end of hope. But to the faithful, it was the sign that heaven would not remain silent. Every time the skies thundered with war, men knew that divine justice was drawing near. This is more than history, it is a mirror of our own world. How often do we let giants, whether systems of greed, violence, or corruption, rule over us until hope fades? The Book of Enoch teaches that no matter how terrifying the power of darkness may seem, the light will always respond. Comment. Your thoughts. Do you believe these sky battles were literal wars with alien-like beings or divine visions to warn humanity of arrogance and rebellion? The hypnotic truth is this: creation itself groaned under the weight of defilement. When the stars seemed to fall and the heavens erupted in fire, humanity learned the cost of mixing holy with unholy. The sky wars were not just stories of angels versus fallen angels. They were warnings about the chaos unleashed when boundaries are broken. The lesson remains timeless. When power is used against creation, destruction follows. This wisdom calls to us today, asking whether we are building weapons that heal or weapons that destroy, whether our skies will hold peace or repeat the fiery judgments of the past. From the battlefield of Enoch's visions, a deeper truth emerges. Light cannot remain silent when darkness rises. And so the story moves toward the greatest act of divine intervention, the intervention of God and the archangels. At the height of the chaos, when the Watchers enslaved humanity and the Nephilim crushed the earth, the voice of the Most High declared judgment. The heavens opened, and the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, were sent like blazing swords across the firmament. These were not gentle messengers, but warriors clothed in fire, radiant with holy power. Their descent was like a storm of thunder, their presence so overwhelming that even the rebellious trembled. This was the turning point, the moment the Sky Wars became not just a rebellion, but a divine crusade. Michael, the great commander, struck fear into the fallen angels. Gabriel declared the destruction of the giants, tearing down the strongholds they built upon earth. Raphael chained Azazel, the leader of rebellion, binding him in the darkness of the abyss so that his corruption could spread no more. Uriel delivered warnings of the coming flood, a cleansing wave that would wash away the contamination of human bloodlines. These acts were not mere punishments, they were divine surgery, removing the infection of rebellion before it consumed the world. Enoch's vision describes this intervention in vivid detail, like a heavenly operation restoring balance to a broken earth. The archangels did not only defeat enemies, they restored hope. Their war was not only against beings of light turned dark, but against despair itself. And this carries a healing lesson for us. When chaos rages, when giants of fear and oppression rise in our lives, the Creator always sends light to intervene. We may feel small in the face of overwhelming darkness, But the story of Enoch reminds us that heaven has never abandoned earth. Think of how this mirrors our own battles today. Many feel crushed under systems too large to fight, temptations too strong to resist, or fears too heavy to bear. Yet just as the archangels came at the moment of greatest despair, so too does divine help arrive when we least expect it. Healing may not always come as fire in the sky, but it comes in moments of grace, courage, and breakthrough. That is the deeper hypnosis of this story. It tells our hearts that we are never alone in the war between light and darkness. So when you look at the sky wars of Enoch, do not only see alien-like beings and UFO-like battles, see the greater truth that beyond every rebellion there is redemption, beyond every fall there is restoration. Comment. If you believe that what Enoch described was more than myth, do you see in it a promise that heaven still fights for us today? This intervention marks not the end, but the preparation for the great judgment yet to come, a divine flood of both water and truth that would cleanse creation and set the stage for a new beginning. The UFO perspective and the ancient alien mystery. When we read the Book of Enoch with open eyes, it is impossible not to hear echoes of what modern people describe as UFO sightings. The sky wars are filled with radiant beings descending from the heavens, battles of light flashing across the horizon, and strange beings whose power seemed otherworldly. To ancient men, these were angels and fallen angels, but to our modern imagination they look eerily like alien encounters. Think of the fiery chariots that blazed across the sky. Could these be the same as crafts reported by pilots who speak of glowing discs darting with impossible speed? When Enoch speaks of watchers teaching forbidden sciences, is it not the same as stories of advanced knowledge whispered by those who claim contact with extraterrestrials? Across cultures, the same visions repeat. The Hindu Vimana, the fiery serpents in the Mayan codices, the Greek titans at war in the sky. Are these coincidences, or were they all fragments of one truth, that Earth has always been the center of a cosmic conflict? For those who believe in ancient aliens, the Book of Enoch becomes more than scripture. It becomes the oldest record of extraterrestrial battles fought for dominion over humanity. And yet for the faithful, it is proof that the heavens themselves intervene to protect mankind from powers too great for us to withstand alone. This dual vision creates a hypnotic tension. Were the fallen angels simply spiritual beings clothed in mystery, or were they alien-like beings disguising themselves as gods to enslave humanity? The imagery fits both stories, but the lesson remains the same. Not every light in the sky is holy, and not every visitor from above brings healing. Today we see the same debates raging in documentaries, testimonies of pilots, whispers of cover-ups. The Bible story has already warned us, discern the spirits, for even beings of light may be messengers of deception. Comment. Your thoughts. Do you believe Enoch was witnessing UFO battles, or was he seeing visions of spiritual warfare too great for human language? This mystery is not meant to divide us, but to awaken us, to call us into awareness that reality is far larger than what we see. And from this mystery, we turn to the tragic consequences left upon the earth. The consequences of the Sky Wars. The aftermath of these battles was devastating. The Nephilim, born of the Watchers and human women, spread violence across the earth. They consumed not only food but the very lifeblood of humanity, leaving lands desolate and people hopeless. Their hunger was insatiable, their cruelty legendary. To see them was to lose hope, and yet their destruction was inevitable, for no corruption can last forever when the Creator decrees judgment. The archangels moved with fire, and the giants fell, their bodies buried beneath mountains, their memory etched into the fears of mankind. Even today, legends of giants appear in every culture. from the Norse Jotun to the Native American tales of towering beings. Could these be the fading echoes of the Nephilim's reign of terror? But the consequences were not just physical, they were spiritual. Humanity had been deceived, taught to worship false gods, to bow before beings who appeared radiant but carried darkness within. The Watchers corrupted not only bloodlines, but faith itself. The Great Flood was not merely water covering the earth. It was a reset, a cleansing to restore purity where corruption had spread like fire. And this too is a warning for us today. When greed, pride, or lust rule our hearts, we become like the Nephilim, giants of destruction in our own small worlds. When we allow corruption to thrive, the consequences reach not only our lives, but generations to come. There is healing in this truth. The Sky Wars remind us that even when the earth was overwhelmed by rebellion, heaven intervened to restore order. No darkness is final, no corruption too deep for cleansing. For every Nephilim that rises, there is a Michael who stands ready to fight. For every rebellion, there is a flood of grace waiting to heal. This is not only history, it is hope. And as we reflect on these ancient battles, we see our own lives mirrored in them. We too face giants, addictions, fears, systems of injustice that seem impossible to conquer. Yet the story teaches us that light never abandons us. Comment. If you have faced your own giants and seen moments of breakthrough, moments where divine light crushed the shadows, the consequences of the Sky Wars are tragic, but they also open the door to redemption. And with this redemption, we can now look to our own time and ask, are we seeing the signs of these wars returning? The modern connection. The echoes of the Sky Wars are not confined to the past. Across the modern world, pilots report lights moving at impossible speeds, glowing discs that defy gravity, craft that seem to vanish into thin air. Military encounters with UFOs are no longer whispered rumors, but public testimonies, and ancient prophecies seem to awaken in these reports. Could it be that what Enoch saw thousands of years ago is manifesting again in our skies today? The Bible speaks of signs in the heavens, of powers shaken before the end. Perhaps we are not awaiting the return of the Sky Wars. They may already be unfolding above us. The connection is chilling and yet strangely healing. For if these battles are real, then we are not abandoned spectators. We are part of a larger story. Humanity is not meaningless. It is the prize over which angels and alien-like beings contend. This should fill us not with fear, but with awe, reminding us that our lives are woven into a cosmic drama. Every act of faith, every choice to walk in light, is part of that war. The archangels may not descend visibly before our eyes, but they move still, unseen guardians holding back chaos. This is why we must remain awake. The Sky Wars of Enoch are not just dusty stories in an ancient book. They are keys to interpreting our times. They teach us to discern the voices that speak to us, to question every light in the sky, and to anchor ourselves in the eternal truth that no power, whether angel or alien, can overcome the will of the Creator. The lesson is personal. Do not let deception rule your heart. Do not worship false lights, and do not surrender your hope to forces that promise power but deliver chains. And here is the mystery that lingers. If the Sky Wars are returning, where will we stand? Will we join the rebellion of those who sought to play God, or will we stand with the light that heals and restores? Comment. Your thoughts, because your voice matters in this conversation. Do you believe UFOs are the continuation of the ancient Watchers, or are they signs of spiritual warfare manifesting again? The modern skies remind us of an eternal truth. The war of light and darkness is not over, and every soul has a place within it. From the ancient visions of Enoch to the UFO reports of today, The heavens continue to testify, the battle still rages, and hope still shines. The echoes of the sky wars in the Book of Enoch still reverberate through the fabric of time like thunder that refuses to fade. When we speak of fallen angels, of watchers who abandoned their place in heaven, of Nephilim towering as giants across the land, and of archangels waging cosmic battles, we are not only remembering ancient stories, we are looking into a mirror that reflects our world today. These images of angel wars and UFO-like encounters are not distant myths. They are living symbols of the eternal struggle between light and darkness, hope and despair, creation and corruption. Every fiery detail, every vision of radiant beings descending in fire speaks to the deep truth that the universe is more mysterious and alive than we dare to believe. And in this mystery, there is also healing, because even when humanity was drowning in chaos, the Creator intervened. When Enoch described heavenly beings locked in combat, when he saw skies torn apart by luminous power, his words carried the weight of something far greater than myth. They carried prophecy, warning, and comfort. It is hypnotic to imagine him gazing upward, his eyes filled with visions of glowing forms and blazing weapons, trying to explain what no human tongue could fully grasp. And yet through his voice, we hear what our souls already know, that the battles in the heavens are not separate from us. They are battles for us. Humanity has always been the prize, the treasure over which angels and alien-like beings contend. That truth gives meaning to every moment of our lives, because it means that your story, your choices, your faith are not small. They are part of a cosmic war written across eternity. Think of the parallels in our time. Pilots describing crafts darting like lightning across the skies, lights that defy gravity, encounters that leave even the bravest speechless. The language of modern UFO sightings is not so different from the visions of Enoch. The question we must dare to ask is this: are these the same battles returning, or have they never truly ceased? Could it be that we are living in the shadows of an ancient war still raging in unseen realms? Comment. Your thoughts. Are we witnessing extraterrestrial encounters? Or are these the fingerprints of spiritual warfare repeating itself before our eyes? This question is not a distraction. It is an invitation to awareness, to wakefulness, to a recognition that the heavens are alive with mysteries beyond our imagination. And yet, even in the awe and fear of such questions, the message is not despair but hope. The archangels remind us that no matter how strong corruption grows, no matter how terrifying the giants may seem, light always descends to restore order. Michael's sword of fire still glimmers in the stories of courage rising in the darkest times. Raphael's healing still whispers in every heart that turns back from brokenness to grace. The intervention of heaven is not only written in Scripture, it is written in our lives, in every moment where love triumphs over hate, where faith conquers fear, where hope rises against despair. This is why the sky wars of Enoch are not simply about aliens, angels, or ancient UFO encounters. They are about you. They are about the struggles you face, the temptations you wrestle with, the giants that seem too big to overcome. They tell you that you are not abandoned, that heaven still moves for you, that you are never alone in the battles you fight. And in that truth, there is healing power, the kind of power that lifts you up when the world has pressed you down. This story is not far away. It is as close as the breath in your lungs, as real as the light in your eyes. If you feel the weight of giants in your life, let the story of Enoch remind you that their fall is inevitable. If you have seen strange lights in your sky, or wrestled with doubts too heavy to name, remember that you are not the first to look upward in fear and wonder. Ancient eyes saw the same skies, ancient hearts felt the same trembling, and yet the story they passed down is one of restoration, one of cleansing, one of redemption. That is why this truth continues to move us. It is not only a record of what was, but a promise of what will always be, light rising against the darkness. And so, as we close this journey, I invite you not just to watch, but to participate. Comment what you believe about these mysteries. Do you think the Watchers were fallen angels, or alien-like beings cloaked in divine imagery? Share your thoughts, because every voice adds to the conversation and keeps this ancient story alive. Subscribe and like. If you want to walk deeper into these hidden truths, because there are countless more mysteries waiting to be uncovered together. And if this video has touched your heart, if it has given you courage or brought light into a shadowed place in your soul, I welcome you to support this journey with a little energy of your own. Every act of support, no matter how small, is priceless to me and keeps these stories flowing like living water. Thank you for being here, for listening not only with your ears, but with your heart. You are part of this story now, part of this ancient chain of witnesses who dare to look upward and ask what mysteries the skies are hiding. May you walk forward with hope, with healing, with the fire of light burning in your soul. And may the sky wars of Enoch remind you always that no matter how fierce the battle, the victory of heaven is assured, and you are loved beyond measure.